right, we are still in section R3, but this is the third lesson. We're jumping to a new topic of polynomials, and we will be adding, subtracting, and doing some distributing, multiplying with polynomials. So I encourage you to go ahead and hit pause so you can get the question written down. Go ahead and give it a try if you know how to do it, and then come back and check and see if you got the right answer. When we are adding polynomials, we want to add like terms, and like terms mean that they have to have a variable with the same exponent. So for instance, 4x cubed, I would look and see throughout this problem, there are no other x cubes. So that means I can't combine the 4x cubed with anything, so it's going to stay 4x cubed. But 5x squared, scan through here, and here's another x squared. So I can combine the x squareds together. So I just add their coefficients. So 5 plus 3 gives me an 8x squared. Then I move on to just the x to the first. So here's a negative 6x and a negative 5x. Those are like terms. So negative and negative gives me a negative 11x. And then my constants, we have 4 and negative 8. So a positive 4 with a negative 8 combines to give me a negative 4. And that's my final answer. You don't want anything in your final answer to have the same exponent. If so, you have more simplifying to do. So we have a cube, a square, a first, and then a constant here. So nothing else we can combine. Let's take a look at number 2. This one is a subtraction problem. And we have to be careful on subtraction because we subtract everything in the second polynomial. So this subtraction sign here, we have to carry all the way through. So what I do at the very beginning, when I'm writing the problem down, or just after, I change this to a plus sign and I make everything inside the opposite. So this was a positive 6, now it's negative. This was a positive 4, now it's negative. This was a negative 9, now it's positive. So instead of making it a subtraction problem, it is now an addition problem, which typically reduces errors. So I would strongly recommend you do the same. Anytime you see subtraction, change the sign of everything that comes after. All right, let's do some combining here. 6x squared, I don't see any other x squared, so it's going to stay the same. Negative 5x cubed. All right, we have a negative 6x cubed, so negative 5 and negative 6 is negative 11x cubed. All right, then we have a 4x and a negative 4x, so that would be 0, so we have nothing to write down for that. And negative 8 and a positive 9, so that would give us 1. Now there's nothing in our answer that is alike, so there's nothing more to combine, but this isn't our final answer. When we write our final answer, we want the largest degree to come first. So the largest degree is the same thing as that exponent, so this negative 11x cubed needs to come first. I can't write a 3. Notice that the negative stays with it. This is a 6x squared, it's positive, so positive 6x squared plus 1. And that is our final answer. All right, so we did addition and subtraction. Now let's try a little multiplication. So we have an x squared being multiplied by a whole polynomial. What we're going to do here is distribute. So after you get that written down, go ahead and hit pause and see if you know how to distribute. Come back and check. All right, we are going to distribute the x squared to all of those terms. When we are multiplying, we're going to add our exponents. We learned that in our exponents unit that we just did. So 5x to the 4th. We do x squared times negative 6x. Again, this is a 1, so 1 plus 2. We have negative 6x cubed. And then plus 3x squared. We don't have any exponents that are the same, so nothing else to simplify. Our largest degree is first, so that's our final answer. Last one on this first part of polynomials. We have a binomial times a binomial. Binomial means that there's two terms. So 2 terms here times 2 terms there. The last problem, we had a monomial, which means 1 term, times a trinomial, 3 terms. All right, so you might remember when you have a binomial times a binomial, we use a process called FOIL, or just double distributing. So on number 3, we distributed to all 3 terms. We're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna take the 3x and distribute it to both of the terms. And then after we do that, we'll take the -5 and distribute it to both of the terms. So just distributing twice. All right, so let's do the 3x first. So 3x times 5x, 3 times 5 is 15, x times x is x squared. 3x times 2 gives us 6x. Then we move on to the -5. -5 times 5x is -25x, and -5 times 2 is -10. We're going to look at our answer, see if we have any terms that are like terms, and we do. We have 2 terms that have an x in it, so we want to simplify that. There's no other x squared, so 15x squared stays the same. But the 6 minus 25 can simplify to -19x minus 10. Now we don't have anything else the same, and it is in order from greatest to least for degrees, so that's our final answer.